Hey there, how are you? It has been 1 week since I decided to move forward with a keto diet. I have not yet weighed myself this morning. I wanted to talk for just a minute or so about the week prior, what I experienced last week, what I learned last week, which was a lot, and share those observations with you today. But I need to go get on the scale. I need to see what progress, if any, was made in the first week of definitely interesting food journeys I've been on in my life. So I'll be right back in a moment. I'm going to go see what the scale has to say about last week's efforts on a keto diet. Okay, so 5.5 pounds. That's my starting weight loss, and I guess I can be honest and say I'm pretty happy with that. Starting weight here was 270, 269, somewhere in there. Weight today, 263 to 264. So when I look at it, take the average, about 5.5 pounds. Not a bad start. It's one full week. So I'll talk a little bit about what I experienced, what I did, and how I did it, and frankly, who helped me through it. That's even a bigger part of the story for me than the weight loss or the journey itself. So to review, if you know just a little bit about keto, hopefully this will provide you some more information. If you know a lot about keto, feel free in the comment section to correct what I'm wrong about. I won't take offense. But the basic idea is a little counterintuitive from what I've experienced in the past, which is lowering the carbohydrate intake. Of course, that's what I did with South Beach all those years ago. But conversely, increasing the amount of fat intake. And again, it's a little bit counterintuitive to my thought process and what I consider to be common sense and conventional wisdom. But 5.5 pounds, it's kind of hard to argue. So let's talk about what I did experience. The first experience essentially was tracking everything I ate. And once again, I will say to you that I think probably the best tool you can use in something like this, and it's free, is MyFitnessPal. It's very easy to enter a diary of food. There's an extensive library of foods that are already in there that you can pull from. There's really almost no guesswork needed unless you are having a very complex recipe. And we did experience that this week, and we had to do a little bit of guesstimating. But overall, I found it to be extremely good at helping me track what it is I'm eating. This past week, my 16-year-old son has been an absolute bedrock for me in this process. He has gone through several phases in the last several years of varying degrees of issues around healthy eating or healthy body weight. His problem's the other way. He's too skinny. If we stand next to each other, he makes a number 1 and I make a 0. My wife at this point will reach into the camera lens and slap me. But nonetheless, he's been on a transformative journey of his own to get healthy, to eat better, to track what he eats, and to put on weight and put on weight in a healthy way with exercise as well. The added wrinkle that he has for himself is that he does not eat red meat or chicken. He will tell you that it identifies as pescatarian. The only animal protein he eats is fish. He doesn't even eat eggs. But that's been his entire life. He's never liked eggs since he was a toddler. But he's been the one that checks in with me every single day. He's been the one that helps me understand some of the science better than I do. He's done the homework. He's done the research. And his attitude towards it all is just absolutely fantastic. He's very supportive. He makes great suggestions. And he's really taken an active role in thinking about how to be useful to me rather than just pontificating about what he knows. for a 16-year-old kid is pretty wise. So back to MyFitnessPal for a moment. If you're going to utilize this tool for a ketogenic diet, what you need to do is get in there and set up your goals correctly so that your macros will look correct in the end. What I've learned about keto in the past week is what you're really looking for is a percentage balance of your carbohydrates versus your fats versus your protein against your entire caloric intake for the day. What you want to see for the day is that 80% of your food has come from fats, 15% from protein, and 5% from carbohydrates. The key for me was avoiding the keto flu, the headache, the tiredness, the irritability. I went into this fully expecting by day 2.5, day 3.5, to be a little bit of a mess, to have a tired headache behind my eyes, to be cranky, and to just be miserable. It actually didn't happen. My understanding through Sebastian's coaching and our research is that has a lot to do with the higher fat intake. The brain wants to run off of carbohydrates, but if you're supplementing it with healthy fats, let me say that, I'm not just talking about fat-heavy lards and garbage. I'm talking about healthy fats like coconut oil, like real whole milk butter, seem to work out pretty well. Instead of experiencing this idea of a keto flu where I felt miserable, I actually felt at several times almost euphoric. Several people noticed it while I was at work. I noticed it by the second day that I was just sort of loose. I was just sort of feeling silly. I was feeling kind of happy. I was actually a little bit too jovial in the whole thing. I actually kind of felt like everything was funny. And that lasted through day 3, and by day 4 that was pretty much cleared. By day 5, I began to just feel more comfortable in my own skin, to not feel such pressure on my midsection when I bend over to pick something up, to not feel such a strain when I go to just get off the ground, feeling like I'm just a beach ball trying to roll over. And granted, it's only 5.5 pounds that I've lost in this first week, but it really did make a difference to how I feel physically and my attitude as I move forward into this. So, moving forward, we're now into week 2. Today I will be going out to grocery shop for what I need for the week. I want to try and change up what I'm taking in. Last week there was a heck of a lot of hard-boiled eggs, a heck of a lot of breakfast sausage patties. That was my basic breakfast. A lot of salads, but the salads were very heavy in cauliflower and green olives. Those were my main ingredients. And try to find a way to kind of moderate the red meat that I'm bringing in. Try to incorporate a little more chicken. And continue on with the indulgence that Sebastian came up for me, which was a nice typical fat bomb is what it's referred to in ketogenic diets. And it's really just a mixture of cream cheese, coconut oil, cocoa powder, and stevia. But suffice it to say, I need to put some thought into how to change that up so that my body doesn't get comfortable and stop losing weight. The great big elephant in the room is exercise. When I talked a moment ago about my own version of self-discipline, my own idea of self-control, I have a significant hurdle I have to get over, and that is accepting that I have to make time in my week to up my exercise level. I have to find a way to get some cardio exercise in, to get some basic, as Sebastian reminds me over and over and over again, simple weightlifting. I've got to get that going because I know that that will result in a huge change and a couple of better milestones that I've experienced right now. So I got to figure it out, and I'm hoping I can talk to you more about it next week. But that's my update for now. I've gone from about 269 to about 263 and a half, and I am happy with that beginning. I hope that you will come back and share your story with me and watch as I continue to try and become the person that I know I can be and the person I want on the outside. We all know who we are on the inside. For me, at this point in my life, at 43 years old, I know that I need to provide myself with the person that I want to be on the outside. I appreciate you spending some time with me this morning, and I hope you have a great week. I will speak to you next time.